Hey everyone. So it's been about a week since we did any videos, so we decided probably a good time to do that.
Yes.
Um, so we have had connection issues.
For many days it was
Many
going on
days.
for.
And it's kind of weird because I don't know, I think it's actually weather related.
Yeah.
Um, we got that huge dump of snow, and like the our host's home was like really covered in snow, and so I just don't know if that's what caused it or
I
what.
think
But
so.
we couldn't connect the phones, and like we said, our actual cell phone signal through our cell phone provider is just horrible.
Yes.
It really is horrible here, and it doesn't stay connected. So that's been a bit frustrating for
Well, and we
us.
couldn't, so we're kind of slowly getting back to responding to people and
Yeah,
comments and questions online, because I mean we could sort of, it was like we could connect enough to see that there were comments there, but it would drop our connection. Like, so we'd try and at least get things liked and stuff like that, but we couldn't get along enough. And I mean, we were having trouble just, with regular text
yeah.
messages,
I tried
with
on
everything
Facebook
really. So
Messenger. Like I tried 8 times to message,
yeah.
send a response to someone, and it just kept saying failed, failed, failed.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
so we do have it back now, and we
yes.
seem to be fine. So hence
Well,
part of
touch wood. Yeah,
why we're doing the video now, and
for sure.
updating a bit on that. But yeah, we will still respond, because there were several like there were some really nice ones on my last sort of cannabis update that
Yeah.
I need to respond
Not
to.
very many on mine. I see your favoritism. Yeah, I see how it is. But yeah, we will respond to those comments as well. But I know there were also a couple of questions that some people had. So you also have to forgive us. We're currently going through a rain, snow, wind storm
Yeah.
of sorts. It's been raining. The wind's been super strong. Actually, been shaking the camper, which has been kind of interesting.
Yes.
I hope it's not quite. I don't think it's strong enough. But I mean, like you have that sort of fear that you got to
Yep.
go flying over. But anyway, but there were other questions that I
We'll have
wanted
no
to
home
address.
because the trailer tipped over.
Yes, let's hope that doesn't happen, but it feels like it might. So we'll answer some of those questions. Someone had asked, what are the plans for the garden and stuff like that when we actually get to the property. So here's the thing. So we know that firstly the weather's improving. We'll talk a little bit more about what our plans are as the weather improves. But we do intend to actually put up a greenhouse. We have an Amazon greenhouse that we will be putting up. It's nothing fancy, but it basically will just allow us to extend our growing season to an extent. So the growing season is really, really short, which is another part of the question. The growing season up here is about 80 days. And usually the last frost is in June and the first frost is in September. So, I mean, that's a pretty short space of time in which we have to grow. So, extending that by any means possible, and in our particular case, building a small greenhouse to start, is definitely part of that plan. In the longer term, there's plans for bigger greenhouses and more greenhouses.
And I mean, even if there's time and that sort of thing in this season, we'll always be looking at and considering doing, like adding on to that or whatever. And it's not like, this isn't to take the place of our greenhouse plans, but it's just, we do want to be focused, I think, initially on getting the cabin going.
Yeah.
And we do kind of have produce growing that is sort of like, we do need it for the following winter. Like, we need to have stuff grown that we can and things like that, so that we kind of are in the same position we were this year, with regard to canned foods anyway.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like so it's just because it's kind of important that we make sure we've got a space for that going, and we kind of need to maintain, and obviously we're already growing things, so we have to have a space to put them right away. But yeah, it doesn't take the place of the longer term greenhouse
permanent
plants
greenhouse.
and
Yeah.
that sort of
So it's
thing.
just like a typical hoop house with a plastic cover kind of
Yeah.
greenhouse with zipper sides and stuff like that. But it's highly rated, and a lot of people have been using them. So that's what we're going to be going with to start. So, that's going to absolutely help us to get going. And yes, we still want to build something way more permanent and probably more than one to house different things with different requirements and things like that. So that's pretty much like the bulk of that answer, I think, to that question. We are treading water still a little bit. So although it's warm and although the
That's not warm, but
warming
warmer.
today is pretty cold, but you can hear the heating still working, which is good. But it's also bad that it's still working, which is not warm enough for it to go away. You can kind of see outside. I mean, like, the windows are actually a little slightly fogged up because of the difference in temperature. It's actually dropped significantly since yesterday was like 16 centigrade, and today is like 6 or something like that. So, I mean, it's dropped quite a lot. But yeah, so the temperatures are warming, and we know that there is melt happening. There's certainly a lot of melt happening around here. And we're quite sure that the road going to the property is getting clearer, if not cleared.
Sort of had it checked a bit yesterday.
Yeah.
It was sort of the general area versus the specific road, but somebody did actually from the town
Very kindly responded to a post and sent a picture of what the road, one of the roads nearby, looks like. So that's kind of encouraging.
Yeah.
We are hoping that, I mean, potentially not this weekend, but I mean, well, definitely not this weekend, but potentially by next weekend or next weekend itself, we might actually be able to go there and check out the road for ourselves.
Yeah.
And what we'd actually like to do is we want to sort of plan spending 2 days there to find a spot for the camper, clear that out, so that within the next couple of weeks we can actually move the camper there. So that's sort of part of the plan.
I should say the plan, if we're going to be there, is we'll probably sleep in the truck
Yeah.
for the night, but it'll be more comfortable than sleeping in the truck. We discussed this. It'll be more comfortable than on the way over when we were in the truck stops.
Which
'cause,
is
I mean,
horrible.
Yeah, I mean, well, we won't be crammed in between a bunch of trucks with all their exhausts coming in and
Yeah.
lights flashing in your face. All
And
night
it won't be
long.
like minus 20.
Yeah, and we won't have a ton of stuff in the back seat, so we can actually drop the seats back down and lie down.
Yeah,
and things.
I mean,
And,
like, we
it's only
literally-
one night, so
It is only one night. So
It's not a big deal.
the plan would be we'd sort of go there in the morning and suss out stuff and start clearing some stuff, and then just basically work until we don't have daylight, basically, and then sleep in the truck, and then spend most of the next day doing the same sort of stuff, clearing the space, and then sort of head back to the camper. So that's the plan in the next coming couple of weeks. Once we get the camper there, certain things that we are going to have to work on quite quickly, I think. Obviously, we've got to get the greenhouse structure done, a fire pit, that kind of thing. We also are hoping that quite soon we can add a dog to the mix,
Yes.
because we are going to have a guardian cat,
Yes.
apparently. But we need a dog too. So not sure how that's happening just yet, but we are keeping our eyes and ears open, and we are hoping that that could sort of coincide with our moving there.
Yeah.
Just because dogs are really good for sort of maintaining a perimeter, and they do ward off things like bears and stuff like that. So
Yeah, there's a lynx.
bears and lynx and lions and tigers and bears. So yeah, so that's sort of part of that initial plan.
Yeah.
Other than that, we really don't have a ton to talk about. I did want to say, once again, so many people have been so incredibly kind and generous with both your comments and the donations that have helped us out, and we really do appreciate every single one of those donations. they really, they literally right now go towards helping us stay alive. And that's not even a word of a lie. I mean, we're talking about like helping us maintain the cost of the propane heat and food and
Yeah.
things like that, and the odds and ends that we need. And really, we cannot say thank you enough. For those of you that have been able to help us in the past, and if you feel so inclined, please go down below, and you can use the PayPal link that's down in the comment section, or you can use our email address, which is on the About page of the channel as well. Please remember to hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and you want to follow on and find out what we're doing next time on this channel, and what we're up to. We try and keep it interesting, but I mean, we're rarely, when the weather's been like it has, and things like that. And without being able to connect to anything, we've done very little other than really nurse our plants. And I'll do a quick shot of that at the end of this video, so you guys can see what those are looking like. They're coming up. We'll do an actual update probably early in the week. So,
and yeah, we will keep getting back to responding to comments and things like that.
100%.
We've just been sort of cut off from that for a bit.
Yeah,
so.
it's been really frustrating. So anyway, thank you again so much for watching, everyone, and thanks again for your wonderfully supportive comments. We really do appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.
Yes.
See ya.